Today I'm talking about the episode The Wedding, and of course it started off with a very iconic proposal or non-proposal when Kurt basically said, I'm planning to marry you, and Mary Ellen says, you call that a proposal? And he says, it's the best one you're going to get from me. And I very arrogantly say, well, I wouldn't marry you, Curtis Willard, if you were the last man on earth. And then we go immediately to a wedding. So that was pretty typical of Mary Ellen because she was always so strong-headed and all of that, which is kind of what made her so much fun to play. But in that episode, at that point, we went up to the mountain. And there was a point during the ceremony where we are in very tight close-ups. So, go back, take a look at this episode and you'll see. And when we're basically listening to Reverend Fordwick, played by the fabulous John Ritter, talk about the wedding vows and everything. And in those very tight shots, what you don't know is that we actually, when we went out to film that, we went away to a location that was an hour and a half away from the studios where we filmed at Warner Brothers. And it was an early morning, and we loaded up on the van, and I believe that was the first time I actually worked with Tom as Kurt. Of course, Tom Bauer had played a airplane pilot in a previous season of the Waltons, but this was him coming back to play Kurt. And so I didn't really know him particularly, and we kind of met that morning. It was like, hi, I'm Judy, hi, you're Tom, and let's go get married. So kind of similar to the Waltons, for real, for Mary Ellen. She and Kurt didn't know each other very long. So we went out and we shot this, but they forgot to get close-ups. So at some point, a week or so later, we were on the back lot of the studios, and they said, we need to get these close-ups. So they took these two ladders, and they put us up at the top of these very tall ladders, and they put these very, very bright lights in our eyes and our faces to get our close-ups. And so we stood on these ladders and did those actual kind of I do's, which was kind of very uncomfortable and very awkward. But next time you watch that, take a look and see if you can spot that point where we are into those tight close-ups. And they put us up on the ladders because that put us up with these trees closer behind us. And I guess they thought that could more properly, blend with what we had shot out in the broader shots. So those are the kind of behind-the-scenes things that happen during the filming of the Waltons that takes away some of the glamour and the romance of it all. But some days it's just those technical points, and as an actor, you learn to deal with them and to continue to give a performance regardless of the circumstances under which you are having to act, including these incredibly bright lights in my face. So that's behind the scenes of the Waltons and Mary Ellen's wedding, and I'll be back with more later. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe below. There's a subscribe button, and write comments about what sort of things you might like to have me share with you, and I'll try and catch as many of those as I can. Okay, take care.